guys today to talk a little bit about the budget that was proposed to us from our House Republican colleagues. And I want to highlight a couple of things that they call supposedly waste, fraud, and abuse. Because to echo some of my colleagues' sentiment, we've been told that this is our fault, that this is our problem, that we're not coming together to the negotiating table. Now, I heard my previous colleague talk about a team who shall not be named from another state that is not Michigan. But last night, I had the privilege of joining a group of young people, the Detroit City Lions, which is an organization, a football team, in partnership with the Detroit Police Athletic League, Detroit PAL, and they get together to practice on the campus of Marygrove College. Now, Marygrove is a college in my district in Detroit that closed a number of years ago, a women's college, and the campus sat empty. And thanks to millions of dollars from investment from us, from philanthropy, from organizations all across the state of Michigan, this incredible group of young boys and girls got together last night in the cold and the rain to kick off their football season. And I bet they're going to have a great track record. Now, I look at these faces of these kids who are working with an organization, Detroit PAL, that is looking to give kids sports opportunities and bring them together to make sure that they find a calling and a purpose, that they have something to do, they have somewhere to go, and that they can take pride in being a part of the team. And I ask my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, are they waste, fraud, and abuse? I met with a group of teachers recently, and we've talked a lot about the universal breakfast and lunch program that has been so popular for parents. But I had a teacher recently tell me something that I hadn't even thought of. She told me how much she loved this program because as a teacher, she is now saving hundreds of dollars a year. You see, this teacher was keeping food in her desk in her classroom, Lunchables, snacks, so that she could feed kids that came to school hungry. She wanted to make sure out of the goodness of her own heart that there was no child in her classroom that ever had to worry about being hungry. So she told me she's got an entire empty drawer in her desk now that she can fill with other things because of the good work that we did here in this legislature to pass a program that has become wildly successful and also, by the way, supports Michigan farmers, Michigan suppliers. And I ask my colleagues on the other side of the aisle and in the other chamber across the hall, is that waste, fraud, and abuse? Finally, I want to uplift the story of Kimberly Elise, who is the owner of a business called Lily's and Elise Tea Room. It is on Livernois Avenue in the Avenue of Fashion. It was supported by Invest Detroit, which is a CDFI that we've invested in significantly here in the state of Michigan. She is the first, I did not know this, the first Black woman tea sommelier in the entire country. She has traveled the world to get this certification, and she opened up this beautiful space in Detroit. Custom design. She offers an incredible experience. She is employing Detroiters. She's offering an experience that you could get in Paris, and she's doing it right here in our community. Now, the Republican budget that we got completely eliminates funding for CDFIs. And I ask for somebody who has traveled the world to come back to Michigan, to her home state, to her home city, to create jobs. Is that waste, fraud, and abuse? So yes, we need to do our core function of government. We need to have a sustainable road funding plan that ensures that we actually fix the roads that are most heavily driven on. But we cannot do it at the expense of kids who need to make sure they are not hungry when they go into the classroom, at the expense of business owners who are making a real impact on their community, and on the backs of kids who are starting their season at the Detroit City Lions and looking to have a great year.